This week, we're going to take a look at one of our favorite TV series in a new board game.
Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Yes, but no, it's going to get confusing.
Shaka when the walls fall.
You need to stop. This is a snap review for Star Trek Super-Skill Pinball.
Temba, his arms wide. Fine.
Star Trek Super-Skill Pinball is the final frontier of roll and write pinball by Jeff Engelstein, and published by WizKids.
Up to 4 people can play out of the box. It's best for ages 12 and up, maybe because most kids don't love Star Trek, but mostly because the game takes at least 45 minutes.
The art here is a mashup, but the kind that you'd expect to see on a pinball table, so it works. There's a combination of pixelated screenshots from classic Star Trek and The Next Generation. There's illustrations that look like they might be from a coffee table book, and animated characters lifted right from the recent Lower Decks series.
Which is the best Star Trek on television, I'm telling you. All of this is layered with pinball staples like flippers, bumpers, drop targets, and illustrated indicator lights.
It really does feel like a pinball table when you combine a back glass and a table board.
And the dice are sparkly.
Like a Starfield. Star Trek Super-Skill Pinball uses the same mechanics as the original Super-Skill Pinball.
Imagine that.
You'll physically move a ball token around on the board. You choose one of 2 dice values to mark off a box each turn, and that's the box that your ball hits.
Every turn, your ball has to move down unless it bounces off a bumper that lets it stay where it is. When your ball reaches the bottom of the table, try to get it on one of the available slots for the red or yellow flipper so that you can shoot it back up into the table and hit targets in the matching color.
Earn points and bonuses as you hit different features and try to rack up your score on the back glass.
You might even activate multi-ball! Or use a skill shot, or try to nudge the die result to hit a better target.
Don't tilt. You usually get 3 balls, or 3 rounds. When the third one is gone, the game is over. Try for a new high score!
Star Trek Pinball has 4 unique tables.
Starfleet Academy is a good introduction to Super-Skill Pinball. It's a pretty straightforward table, except for the Kobayashi Maru targets. Those have to be hit in order to get their bonuses. And somehow you have to roll a 7 to hit the final target?
The Trouble with Tribbles table makes you take tribbles when doubles are rolled or when you hit certain features. You track your tribbles on the back glass along with your points. Collect up to 14 tribbles to score big, but if you end up with more than 17, you'll start losing boxes in your flipper zone. However, you can remove tribbles or send them to your opponents with the transporter.
Rude. The Lower Decks table is wacky. The gravity generators are broken, so the main board keeps flipping orientation. You only get a single ball in this game, so you're going to try very hard not to lose it. You can recruit crew members from the Cerritos to help you, and there's also a set of promotion targets that will double your entire score when you fill them, which you can do multiple times.
Finally, there's the Borg attack table. Use the first 2 rounds of normal pinball to unlock ships, photon torpedoes, and shields. Then, in the 3rd round, you move to play on the back glass itself, bouncing the ball back and forth between the ships you've unlocked and the Borg cube, brick breaker style.
I played and enjoyed the original Super-Skill Pinball, but after I played it a few times, I didn't come back to it. The generic pinball tables just weren't that interesting. So I was really excited when I first heard there was going to be a Star Trek version about a year ago, because I am definitely a Trekkie. I expected it to still feel kind of long and still play best as a solo game, just like the original.
I actually totally agree about the theming making a huge difference. I also agree about it being best as a solo experience, but, well, here's my surprise. We'll go right into surprises. 2 of these boards are hilarious. I didn't expect it at all, but the wackiness of Lower Decks and the gravity, and if you watch the show, all the references that you're going to make while you're playing, are actually pretty funny. Especially if you're working through something on your own board and you hear, "Oh, the gravity has flipped the board!" Also, constant triple references. Constant.
All of the tables here are really well themed. They keep me coming back to play again and again because they really capture some of my favorite moments from the franchise.
The Borg attack and the lower decks tables are surprisingly original. They do things you could never do with a physical pinball table, but they still feel very much like you're playing pinball.
They do. Most of the tables are still pretty much a solo experience, so I love that the Trouble with Tribbles lets you mess up other players' plans. It finally gives me a reason to play this game in a group and not just by myself.
So, Anitra, do we recommend Star Trek Super-Skill Pinball?
If you like pinball and you like Star Trek, then I'd highly recommend this game. It's gonna run you 40 minutes to an hour, but you will find yourself trying to get just the right number of tribbles or recruit Boimler for an awesome promotion. If you're not a Trekkie, this theme probably won't keep your interest. But you might check out the original Super-Skill Pinball or the Holiday Movies edition.
Even with the great theming, there were certainly times when the game did run a little bit long, like Anitra said. I had a few plays where I was like 3/4 of the way through and I was like, I'm done. I don't need to play anymore. I'm all set.
So Andrew, what are we going to rate this?
I think we're going to give it 4 phasers out of 5.
And that's Star Trek Super-Skill Pinball
In a snap. Choop, 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 choop.